Hello, and welcome to another episode of Dr. Mercola's Cellular Wisdom, the podcast where we explore the inner workings of our bodies, one cell at a time. I'm Ethan Foster, your resident observer of the human condition. And by observer, I mean I read labels on cereal boxes and wonder what half the ingredients mean.
And I'm Alara Skye, the inquisitive troublemaker who can't resist turning every conversation into a health lesson. We aim to keep you entertained and enlightened without making you jump through hoops, although today we might be talking about jumping in a more literal sense.
Indeed, we are. Today's episode is all about plyometric exercises and how they can help older adults stay strong, balanced, and, hopefully, far from the emergency room.
You heard right. We're discussing the boingy kind of workouts, jumping, hopping, and bounding around like we're kids in a playground. Except we're doing it responsibly and with a bit more decorum.
Well, let's not promise too much decorum. After all, if you're going to jump around, you may as well have fun with it. But apparently, there's some real science behind these moves. Dr. Mercola's research points out that plyometric training helps older adults build muscle strength and improve balance.
And that's crucial because as we gracefully age, muscle loss sneaks in like an uninvited guest. By the time we're in our 70s, we could have lost up to 30% of our muscle mass. That's a big chunk of prime real estate.
Right? 30% is the difference between bounding up the stairs versus asking them to install one of those motorized chairs that take you upstairs at the speed of a glacier.
Though those chairs are stylish, they're not exactly beneficial for muscle retention. But that's another topic. Today, we focus on plyometrics because they do more than just build biceps or quads. They also help with reaction times, exactly what you need when you're about to slip on a stray banana peel, figuratively speaking, or literally if you're living with a cartoon character.
Or, if you're me, I'm known for stepping on Lego pieces. Let me tell you, that's a situation where you want quick reflexes, so you can hop around on one foot, howling in pain.
Now, Dr. Mercola's analysis highlights that falls are a serious concern as we age. That's why retaining muscle power is so important. And by the way, power here doesn't mean how we feel when we find the last cookie in the jar. It means the ability to generate force quickly.
So it's not just about being strong, it's about reacting in time. Because if you feel your foot slip, half a second of reaction time can mean the difference between a graceful recovery and a less than graceful tumble.
If that tumble leads to a fracture, especially in the hip area, the consequences can be devastating. Recovery gets harder, mobility suffers, and life becomes a lot more complicated. That's why plyometric exercises step up to the plate. They help us develop that rapid muscle response.
It's fascinating because, for a long time, plyometrics were reserved for high-level athletes. You know, the folks we see doing explosive jumps in the Olympics. It never occurred to most of us that older adults could benefit from these moves.
Exactly. The standard advice has often been, just walk more, use light weights, take it easy. But newer research shows that supervised plyometric workouts, like small jumps, hops, or bounding exercises, can be both safe and highly effective.
One study mentioned in Dr. Mercola's discussion featured adults aged 58 to 79 who did variations of plyometric exercises. Some had osteopenia, which is low bone density, and yet, under proper supervision, they experienced fewer injuries than you might think. In fact, the review found little to no heightened risk of injury if done correctly.
It's all about how you start and progress. If you haven't jumped off anything taller than the rug in your living room for the past 20 years, you probably shouldn't start with high box jumps. That's how you end up with more injuries than gains.
Good point. We're not handing out free passes to go leaping off the couch with reckless abandon. The idea is a structured approach, but it's neat that once these participants got into the swing of things, pun intended, the benefits showed up quickly.
In as little as 4 weeks, some older adults in these programs improved their hip extension strength by almost 50%. That's pretty remarkable. It's like giving your muscles an express ticket to Betterville.
49% in a month is no small feat. My personal gains, ironically, have been mostly around my waistline, so maybe I need to incorporate a little hopping routine.
If you do, make sure I'm around to document it. For science.
I promise. But it's not just about muscle strength, right? Plyometric training also improves balance. That means a greater sense of postural stability, which is basically your ability to remain upright and composed, especially when your dog suddenly decides to zigzag in front of you.
Indeed. Our bodies have sensors called proprioceptors, which tell us where we are in space. Plyometric exercises sharpen those sensors so we can adjust quickly if, say, we step on uneven ground.
There's a mention of something called the stretch shortening cycle. Sounds technical, but it's basically the idea that when you land from a jump, your muscles first lengthen, then immediately contract as you jump again, producing explosive force.
Right. And that cycle improves the way our muscles react. In everyday terms, it means you can quickly catch yourself if you misstep or slip. Think of it like upgrading your phone's processor from a slow chip to a faster one, but for your body.
Which, ironically, might be more valuable than upgrading your phone. The older I get, the more I realize I need to upgrade the chip in my knees.
Plyometrics just might be that upgrade. The cool thing is that these exercises also benefit bone density. This is huge for older adults because losing bone mineral density puts us at risk of fractures.
The article points out that moderate or high-intensity exercises actually stimulate the body's bone-building processes. Our bones sense the impact and go, "Oh, time to get denser so we can handle this."
Exactly. Impact exercises create tiny mechanical stresses in the bones. Then our body says, we need to reinforce these structures. So over time, you end up with stronger bones and less risk of osteoporosis.
This synergy between muscle strength and bone density is pretty important. One helps you move better, the other helps you withstand movement. Combine them, and you've got a winning formula for healthy aging.
But there's a disclaimer we should slip in about doing it properly. Some older adults might worry, what if my knees can't handle the impact? That's where supervised training and gradually increasing intensity become vital. You start small, maybe just stepping up onto a small box rather than jumping right away.
It's also wise to pair plyometrics with good old resistance training. When you combine strength workouts, like squats or lunges, with plyometric moves, like jump squats or bounding, you get the best of both worlds.
Exactly. Resistance training will build that foundational strength, and plyometrics will turbocharge it with quicker reaction times and explosive power. It's like peanut butter meeting jelly. They complement each other.
And let's not forget about consistency. Doing a couple of jump sessions once every 6 months isn't going to do much. The body adapts to what we do regularly.
Absolutely. Setting a routine of 2 to 3 sessions a week makes a world of difference. Think of each jump as a vote for healthier muscles and bones.
Now, for those listening who think, I'm too old to jump, the research begs to differ. Studies show that older adults can do these exercises safely, provided there's a plan in place and maybe a trainer or a physical therapist to guide them.
And it's never too late to start. Even those with lower baseline strength see significant gains. In fact, some research suggests they see the biggest jumps, pun intended, because they're starting from a place where every improvement is major.
Let's talk a bit about the exercises themselves. Box jumps are an example, jumping onto a stable box or platform, then stepping back down. I like to imagine it as the old game, king of the hill, but let's not push each other off.
Good plan. There are also lateral skater hops, which mimic a speed skater's side-to-side motion. It's kind of fun, makes you feel athletic, even if the only ice you see regularly is in your iced coffee.
Another is the trusty squat jump. You squat down, then jump up as high as you can. When you land, you go right back into the squat and repeat. Sounds simple, but it can be pretty intense and effective.
Medicine ball throws also qualify. It's not just about leg work. You can pick up a weighted ball and throw it against a wall, then catch it. It's a great upper body plyometric exercise. Just ensure your reflexes are ready to catch the ball on the rebound.
That's a must. Otherwise, you've got a faceball scenario. Let's just say that's not recommended for longevity.
Now, Dr. Mercola also emphasizes not overdoing it. The key is short bursts of high-intensity movement, but not for excessive amounts of time. It's more about quality than quantity.
Right? Because too much high-intensity exercise can lead to oxidative stress that actually hurts bone health. It's like adding a dash of salt to your meal for flavor. Perfect. Dumping the entire shaker? Not so perfect.
Exactly. So a moderate approach is best. Keep sessions to maybe a few sets of each plyometric exercise, with rest in between. Let the body recover.
Recovery is huge. Muscles need time to repair themselves. Otherwise, you'll find yourself too sore to move, which defeats the whole purpose of staying active.
Absolutely. We want to encourage consistent movement, not a blowout session that puts you out of commission for a week.
Let's also touch on motivation. Sometimes older adults might think they're beyond the age of trying new fitness activities. But the science here is pretty motivating. Just because we're adding candles to the cake doesn't mean we have to stop building muscle and staying agile.
I love that. Age is a number. Your body is a machine that can adapt, given the right stimuli. And plyometrics, done the right way, can be that catalyst for better mobility, balance, and independence.
Independence is key, because it's not just about biceps and quads. It's about being able to climb stairs without huffing, to carry groceries without struggling, or to walk on uneven sidewalks without fear.
Absolutely. Quality of life matters. And if you can hop and skip your way to a better life, why not? It's like being a kid again, but with more wisdom, presumably.
And a few more wrinkles, but who's counting? Now, let's quickly summarize the main points so our listeners have a neat takeaway.
Sure. First, plyometric exercises help combat muscle loss, improving both strength and power, essential for preventing falls. Second, they boost balance by improving the body's proprioception and reaction times. Third, they support bone density, which is vital for preventing fractures.
Fourth, you can see benefits in as little as 4 weeks, but consistent training is key. Fifth, it's important to start gently and build up, ideally with some professional guidance.
And sixth, combining plyometrics with resistance training offers the best of both worlds, improved muscle strength and explosive power. That's a recipe for graceful aging if I've ever heard one.
On that note, graceful or not, it's definitely an approach that keeps you moving and living life on your own terms. That's the heart of what Dr. Mercola calls cellular wisdom, understanding how our cells, muscles, bones, and reflexes all work together to keep us thriving.
And remember, it's not about aiming for the Olympics. It's about functional fitness, making everyday tasks easier and safer. If you happen to feel Olympic while doing it, more power to you.
Well, this has been enlightening. I'm feeling inspired to incorporate a few gentle jumps into my routine. Maybe I'll start by hopping over a particularly menacing piece of lint on my carpet.
Baby steps, or baby hops. Either way, I believe in you.
Thank you for that resounding vote of confidence. And thank you, listeners, for tuning in to Dr. Mercola's Cellular Wisdom with Ethan Foster and Ilara Skye.
We hope you've gleaned something valuable, like the knowledge that hopping around can be more than just a game. It can be a step toward a stronger you.
And if you hear a mild crashing sound in the background, that's just me practicing my box jumps. Thanks for listening, folks. Stay active, stay curious, and we'll catch you next time on Dr. Mercola's Cellular Wisdom.
Until next time, keep those cells happy, healthy, and maybe just a little bouncy. Take care, everyone.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe now and click the notification bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.